Win a Pageant, episode 43. If you're serious about winning your pageant, send me an email at alycia@winapageant.com to schedule an interview to see if you qualify for my VIP coaching program. Hey girl, welcome to another episode of Win a Pageant. In this episode, we are going to unpack the 3 reasons that women lose pageants. And of course, I'm going to teach you how to avoid those so that you can win. These 3 reasons that we're going to talk about today are the main reasons that I see when my clients or when others, and myself really, lose pageants. They either have unrealistic expectations, they are resistant to invest, or they have what I call the imposter syndrome. So let's unpack each of these, starting with unrealistic expectations. This could be the misbelief that it's easy. So oftentimes pageant women want to compete in pageants. Maybe they've seen friends or relatives compete before, and they assume that it must be easy, especially when you see a woman who waltzes on stage and she does it with excellent grace and stuff, and you assume it's easy. This is very similar to when you go to a circus that's awesome, like Cirque du Soleil. If you've seen a performance that's just truly unbelievably amazing, it looks easy. In fact, that's the art of the pageantry, is that they make it look easy. If you believe that it's easy, that is truly an unrealistic expectation. Now, the way that I've broken it down in the art of pageantry is very simple, but that doesn't mean that it's easy. It's just a very simple way to experience pageantry. So it breaks it down so that it becomes easier to consume. But there's still a lot of hard work that is involved. The second thing is a misbelief of the stereotypes. Sometimes women believe that the pageant women are silly or stupid, or they're only beautiful, or they don't have any substance and things like that. And so then again, it looks like it could be easy to accomplish. Like you don't really have to be full of much. You could be full of a lot of nothing and still win. Well, that's not true. In fact, most pageant women are absolutely powerful. They're super smart. They really have to be successful in a variety of different areas. So don't just assume based on stereotypes of what you think it might be that, you can or can't do it. And then finally, it's a misunderstanding of the process. So in this case, a misunderstanding of what might be expected is that you might not actually realize that you actually have to put in something to get something out. And we call that you reap what you sow. That basically means that whatever you're planting today is what you'll harvest tomorrow. So if you are, wasting your time with socially, or you kind of out with your friends all the time and you're not really committed to your training program, or you're ignoring what your advisors are telling you to do, or you're not really learning how to compete in a pageant, then yeah, you're going to reap what you sow. If you don't sow positive things, then you're not going to reap positive things. You have to understand that there are things involved. It is not easy. There is a misbelief of stereotypes. We do need to pull on your strengths. You really do need to have strengths. And I know that everybody does, but it's vital that you understand what yours are. And then that you understand the process. And the process is that you've got to put in order to get out. And you will then reap what you sow. The second reason that people tend to lose pageants is that they have a resistance to invest, meaning that there's something blocking their desire to invest in themselves and in the pageant. Now, this could come from a variety of reasons. The first could be the misbelief that pageantry is cheap. So they believe that it's easy to compete in pageants, it's cheap, you shouldn't have to invest a whole lot in your attire, you shouldn't have to invest much in your training, you really shouldn't have to invest much in the way that you present yourself and your appearance and all these things. The truth is that it really does demand investment. Where you lack the investment of finances, you need to make up in the investment of time. Where you lack in the investment in time, you need to make up in the investment of finances. The programs that I have developed for the women that I train, they're a variety of different ways of doing it. So there are some that are very inexpensive financially, but they take a lot of time. It's the do-it-yourself system. So you've got to invest time to sit down and watch the videos, to sit down and explore yourself, or You could hire a coach to help you with all those things and pretty much do it for you, and the done for you system is going to cost you more, but it's going to take significantly less amounts of time. So you will be budgeting, and you'll have to figure out where you have the time and resources and how to get creative with that, but it is not cheap. Somewhere you must invest. The second misbelief is that it's expensive. That's not true either. The good news is that where you are able to invest finances, you don't have to invest time, but where you can't invest finances, you can invest your time. Now, for me personally, it took me about 10 years to get to the place where I am now. That's a lot of time, but I was financially profitable during the process because I was competing in the pageants that I knew were going to have financial outcomes for me. So I chose pageants that had high scholarship dollars. I did very well in the pageant and then used that financial money to compete the next year. So I was able to constantly, put it back into the process. Now, is that cheap? No. Is it expensive? Well, no, but it definitely took a lot of time. It was still an investment. There's also a misunderstanding of this process, so the investment process. Sometimes people believe that they can just throw money at things and that it'll work for them. And there are other industries where that probably does work. We call that pay to play. In the pageant industry, it's not necessarily that way, and it's because it's more subjective. Now, there are certain things that you can do. So you could attend a workshop where there will be big major players at, and you can network with them. Or maybe you have to contribute to somebody else's platform or a charity that they are interested in order to open up a conversation, to be able to call them your friend and ask them deeper questions about their pageant competition. So there are things to do to invest, but the thing I want to let you know is that you've got to give in order to get. I train all of my clients that when you're looking for information or a process or you just need something, you really want to give 3 times before you ask for something in return. Now, that's with the exception in most cases of products. When you pay for a product, you assume, that's a exchange of energy. You're giving money in which it took you energy to get, and this person is accepting your money, so they want to give their energy in a form of a product or in a service to give back to you. That's a financial energy exchange. You've got to give in order to get. So don't just assume that you're going to be given stuff for free unless you have something else to give, okay? So get creative on what you're giving. It doesn't always have to be money. It may also be your time or your resources. The number one reason that women do not win is because of their imposter syndrome. Now, an imposter is when you feel like you are doing something that you really don't connect with. So it's when you're pretending to be somebody that you're really not. And oftentimes we get into this mindset of that. So this could be the misbelief of your own personal strengths, meaning you don't understand what you're really good at, or you think that you aren't good at something when you really are, or you think you're awesome at something and you're really not. So you can misunderstand your personal strengths, and that can lead to this imposter syndrome. The other way is to misunderstand the pageant industry. So if you don't really know what the industry is looking for, or you don't fully understand them, then you really may be confused as to where you fit in. And if you don't understand where you fit in, you might be making up this pseudo identity that you really aren't. You might really be being an imposter. And we do not want to do that, because that's how women lose pageants. There's also a misunderstanding of this process. So if you do not recognize that you right now are extremely valuable, you have got skills, you have got abilities, you've got a passion to succeed, and with those strengths, you are able to win a pageant. All you need to remember is that confidence comes from experience. The more experience that you have in the industry with understanding yourself, with the process itself, putting yourself in a variety of different experiences and interacting with different people, the more experience that you have, the more confidence you will gain. And you'll gain that confidence in yourself. You'll gain the confidence in how you interact with the industry. You'll gain that confidence in the process. The confidence comes from experience. And when you have that experience, you will realize you are not an imposter. So, what are the 3 ways that you can win a pageant? The first is to have realistic expectations. Understand what you're entering into. Understand that the pageant industry itself. The second is be willing to invest. Be willing to invest your time and your finances to fully understand what this is, and then to really take it to that extreme level, meaning it's not just for the crown. It's far, far beyond that. And then the number one way is to have confidence in your experience. When I work with my coaching clients, we look at their experiences, not just in the pageant industry, although that is valuable, but also in their education. We look at their experience in their work life. We look at their experience in their home life and family. So many different ways in your life do you gain experience. It's not just in the industry. So you truly could compete for the very first time, never having been on a pageant stage before, and win. And that's only if you have realistic expectations, a willingness to invest, and confidence in your experience. And that, ladies, is how you win a pageant. Thanks for joining me today. I'll see you next time. Hey there, I'm Alycia Darby, and I just want to say thank you so much for watching that last video. If you totally loved it and got something from it, would you just click subscribe right here to subscribe to our YouTube channel? Hey, I am here for you, and I've got so many more trainings and videos for you. In fact, this one would be a really great one to watch next. Or if that topic doesn't interest you, then try this one. It's my most recent video training. So I think both of these would be really great for you. Thank you again so much for subscribing. I am honored to be your coach. I'll see you again soon.